What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Muck and MIRE podcast, the first episode of the podcast in the 2021-2022 school year as we get ready for high school football. And I am joined by Brandon Fury. Brandon, you are, I've kind of like stolen this from you a little bit here, it seems, because this is typically your forum to get everything out. But I was thinking about this morning after, while I was running. And I was like, oh, how do I want to ask Brandon to do this? And I was like, you know what? If I was going to ask him to do it, like as he was a member of the MIRE, that would really be crappy, because it would asking you to remove some level of enthusiasm that you have about the team that you're playing on, and certainly the captain of. So I'm excited to have you here as a member of the football team, and this is the first time that we have almost like an embedded reporter. So I know you're gonna have to hold some things back, not to tip all the industry secrets, but yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. It's been too long since we did one of these. Glad to be
man,
back.
No doubt. I'm excited. I'm excited for all of this stuff and just to talk to you. So first off, I want to start with your own individual congratulations. First off, headed to up to Marist on scholarship, play up in Poughkeepsie. Got to be pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, and well, it's non-scholarship. The whole conference, Pioneer Football League's non-conference. Every other sport at Marist is scholarship. I'm non-scholarship, but thank you. I still appreciate it.
Listen, you're a scholarship athlete to me.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, but gotta focus on my last year here at Montgomery and doing the best I can to help bring my team a state championship.
Always so politically correct. Take us through the why Marist is basically what I'm asking. How'd you make the decision?
Well, Marist, my dad went there, so that was kind of how I got introduced to them. Just knowing the school, and then I started talking to their coach separate from my dad. Probably my sophomore year, closer to my junior year. And then we just continued to talk all throughout my junior season, the winter, and then eventually springtime. We're talking about me coming up to campus. So I went up in July, and then a week later they made me an offer, and just felt like home there. So I decided that's where I would commit to, and I'm really excited. They have a great program, and awesome campus, very, very nice. And it's a great school too. So nothing but excited to go there for the next 4 years.
That's awesome, man. And we're pumped for you. So I joke that when we broadcast football, or most of the time, even when you watch college or the NFL on television, that offensive linemen don't get a lot of play except for when they're getting beat. So if you're getting your name called out on television or on radio or wherever when you're a lineman, it's usually a bad thing. The only times that you really want to be talked about when you're a lineman, in my opinion, is before the season starts and when the season ends, as preseason accolades and postseason awards. And your name has been thrown around among the most elite players in the state at your position. I feel like every time I'm opening up a top 10 lineman list, no matter which publication seems to produce it, your name is at or near the top of it. And that's got to be a pretty cool thing, I would think, right?
Oh, it's so cool. And I was talking to Alex Benitez about it the other day, and it's just so weird. I've just never been in the spotlight at all. And it's kind of cool, but I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I've always been on, Lucas Kopecki's team or Dylan McFadden's team or Alex Benitez's team. And just to kind of get my name out there, it's a pretty cool thing. And it's a cool thing for all linemen out there. It's not just me. I mean, I got 4 guys next to me that I need them to help me elevate my game as well.
One of the great quotes, and I'm sure I'm messing it up a little bit, but I have the gist of it, I'm pretty sure. Mark Schlereth, the former NFL offensive lineman, in my opinion, one of the best media personalities out there, talks about how difficult it is as a man to take another man and move him to a different place against his will. He says it's one of the most difficult things to do in sports.
Definitely not easy. Yeah.
I mean, and that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do on every play. Like, as a human, you could see me and you could see you. I haven't really moved many men against their will, in my lifetime. It's not really a thing, right? What is that feeling kind of like when you can just take somebody and be like, nope, go over here now?
When you're just doing it all game and you're just dominating somebody, there's really no better feeling. It's a special thing, but it requires so much work and time and just skill and technique, and that's why not everybody can do it. The O-line, I think, maybe I'm a little biased, is the most important position on the field. It starts everything, and without the big guys up front doing the hard work, the easy stuff will never come.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't really care who's playing quarterback, who's playing running back. If the offensive line is getting blown up, no one's having success. It's just the way that it works. I'm sorry. So yeah. I completely agree with you there. Run blocking or pass blocking, your preference?
Oh man. Well, I definitely think pass blocking is a little easier. It comes easier to me. And then just run blocking, when you're, like I said, when you're just dominating someone and they're just going wherever you tell them to go, there's nothing better than that. So I'd have to say when you're at your best, run blocking.
How much of that would you say at this level is technique, and how much of that is just brute strength?
That's a good question. I'd say a lot of it's technique, because if you look at like a lot of guys in high school, not all of the best linemen are these huge 6'7", 330-pound Alabama commits. There's guys that don't even go on to play in college that are just good high school linemen. Like if you look at our O-line last year, I'm the only one playing in college, and those four were very, very good, because they worked at it. They had great technique. They weren't the biggest, they weren't the strongest, they weren't the fastest, but they had great technique. They worked hard at it, and it's something that you can't avoid the weight room, but you don't have to be this God's gift to be good at O-line.
Well, I imagine as the level, as you level up, as they say, and especially as you go into next year where everybody is going to be as big and strong or stronger, that technique becomes, all that much more important.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about your line mates, because that to me is one of the areas of this Montgomery football team in 2021 that I, outside of you, put the biggest question mark on. And not because the guys there aren't talented, it's just that they haven't been next to you. I mean, you are the only returning starter on that offensive line. Andre Suleiman flips over from the defensive side and is going to play offensive line this year. And then you have a couple of guys who also have never started, but a couple of seniors. So it's not like you're starting freshmen out there on the line. Take us through who's going to be starting on the line, how things have come together this summer, and how it's looking.
Yeah, so it's getting a lot better every day. Alaji, playing tackle for us, got told just a couple days before, the season, that he would be moved to tackle from tight end.
You're talking about Alaji Diarra, just so everybody out there is aware who we're talking about.
And he's doing a great job with it. Gabe Aycott, at guard, he's doing a phenomenal job. He's a great leader. And then Gurjeet Singh is absolutely enormous. He's 6'5", like 275, and he has all the potential in the world to be great for us this year. And it's just going to come with time. I think you need game experience as an offensive lineman. There's nothing that compares to varsity speed. My first 3 plays sophomore year, against Heightstown. I made my blocks and I finished them by me tripping over myself because that's just it's just this adjusting to the speed is there's nothing like it. So it's just going to take a little time to gel, but once we do, I think we have a group that can really help us win football games.
The offense last season, as probably most fans remember, it was a healthy dose of the running game, most notably with Alex Benitez. And then it was Dylan McFadden taking the top off, and I always joked it didn't really matter who you put back there. You'd have to start him 45 yards off the line of scrimmage to be able to catch up with the kid, because it seemed like he ran past everybody that was, that lined up across from him. But there wasn't really much in the middle, there. It seemed like we were kind of like a two-dimensional machine, if you will. Things look a little bit different this year.
Yeah, I think we're a lot more balanced. Alex really worked on his arm and his accuracy. The arm was never an issue.
No.
Just the accuracy. And we got some receivers back. Keith McManus, Mark Jenkins, Matt Davino, Nino Spera, and these guys, they're ready to play. They're hungry. And Alex has been getting them the ball all summer. And I'm just really excited to see how it all works with them. Coach Carty's a great play caller, understands football so well. Being in a family that's been around the game for as many years as the Cardys have, he just understands how to get these guys the ball in space. And now that Alex can actually do it, it's gonna help the offense so much.
I'm glad you brought up Sean Carty, the offensive coordinator, because to me, and now this is the 1,000-foot view away from this, as I watch football, and I think this is probably a fair statement that in high school football, a lot of the time you can only call the kinds of plays that your team is capable of running, and a lot of the time you're limited, in that, based on who your talent is, right? I mean, I think that just makes sense, because this isn't the pros, and this isn't, you're not recruiting in college, and in public school you just have what you have. But to me, every time I watch Carty through the years, even when he was coaching at Hillsborough, I got the sense that it was more than just, I'm going to call this play and I'm going to call that play, and then I'm going to call this play and I'm going to call that play because that's what our team can do. It always felt like there was more of a plan than that. It was more like, I'm going to run these concepts early in the game to set you up for something that's coming later. And that was always a thing that, like, as I watch, at the higher levels, that in the NFL, you can see disjointed play calls sometimes. And then you watch like Kyle Shanahan. It's like, oh, that's why he did that in the first quarter, because they were getting ready to do that in the third quarter. Is that the kind of sense you have, or am I just way off base?
No, you're 100% right. Coach Carty is very, very smart and creative with his play calling. He'll put something in for week 1 to set something up for week 6. Like, that's the kind of coach he is. He and the fact that he has fun with it. Like, he enjoys calling plays. Like, something draws him to it, and it's that creativity that, like, almost like it's like a chess game, right? That smartness aspect of it just makes him an excellent play caller. Just like I said, just he says it all the time, like, get your athletes in space. And that's what he's good at doing, and putting alley defenders in binds, making them choose. Do they want to cover the flat? All right, well, then we'll throw a 10-yard out. You want to cover that out? All right, we'll dump it off in the flat. You want to leave us over the top? See ya. He's just great at finding those weaknesses in defenses. And it all starts with, it's really all our coaches, but since we're talking about him, how much film they watch on other teams. They are always watching film. If there's somebody on their team that doesn't belong on the field, he will find it and we will exploit them.
This just reinvigorates me to make sure that we have Coach Carty on the Muck and MIRE. Obviously last year with him filling in for Coach Milich, we had the chance to talk to him every week, but it's a little, I feel like it's a little different, when you're interviewing somebody when they're the acting head coach versus when he's the offensive coordinator, and maybe, like, to your point, he can have a little more fun and focus on the minute details of the offensive play calling. So we'll have to make sure that we make that happen in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
On the opposite side of before we even flip away from the offense, because you touched on it and you mentioned his name, but I want to talk about it because it's something that another one of my like Glockisms that, through the years I noticed, and I think there's a trend there. I always felt like if I found myself calling a guy's name a lot because he was around the ball, even if it wasn't on offense in one year, but he was playing a different position, and now, maybe as an upperclassman, he gets thrust into a more prominent offensive role. I'm like, there's a reason why I've been calling this kid's name the last year and a half, because he's always doing something. Mark Jenkins, to me, was a guy last year I must have said his name 1,000 times, because every time I looked up, he was doing something good. So for me, I'm excited because he's playing in the slot, I would assume, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, he's a guy that is going to make some things happen just by virtue of like that proxy only. And this is coming from somebody who hasn't watched 1 minute of practice. What are you seeing from him?
Well, I would say that ever since we were kids, Mark has just been an insane football player. And I'm so excited for him that he's finally going to get a chance to play offense. And he's outstanding. He's been making plays all off season, whether it was in Iron Peak 7-on-7s in the winter and spring, summer 7-on-7s, or just during practice or the quad scrimmages, the game scrimmage against Hunter and Central. Mark has just been making plays all off season, and he's going to have a really big year. He's going to surprise a lot of people.
Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, probably biggest question mark, linebackers. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, linebackers, DBs, some moving parts too. Linebackers, 3 juniors expected to get some time. But they look good. Gavin Cadetti's our Mike linebacker right now, and I think he's had an awesome summer. He's surprised me with he's all over the field. There's unless the Andre or Jalen gets a solo tackle, Gavin's in on it. He's everywhere. And that's what we need him to be as a Mike linebacker in our defense. It's so important. The defensive line's job, especially me as a nose guard, is just to eat up blockers and keep them free. And when Gavin's free, Gavin's making plays. And then the other guys, Joe Rossman, Ethan McManus, they're outside linebackers. They're stepping up. And that's just how high school football is. You lose guys, whether it's Danny Boyer, J.J. Malik, Alex Siemens, Weber Carson. We lost a lot of linebackers, but we had guys that were ready to play, and they've been working hard with us all off season, and they're ready for it. And then obviously seniors, Jackson Bullock, Liam McManus, they're going to be ready to go. Liam was great for us last year. He's going to be even better for us this year, probably our best tackler. After a game or two, they should really take off.
Now, I would never ask you to make predictions because I think that that's unfair, and it's like bulletin board material for other teams. We just don't need that. So I'll ask you this question: for this Montgomery football team to be successful, this has to happen. What's fill in this for me?
Man, a lot, but this would be, we got to block. And maybe that's just because I'm an O-lineman saying it.
I was just say you're not biased at all with that.
But no, we got to block because we have the skills. We could be an all-world 7-on-17. We lit teams up this summer, this off season. If our O-line can block and create some space in the run game, we're gonna be a very successful football team, and that's how most teams are. It starts up front, and D-line too. If we're taking on double teams, beating double teams, and our linebackers are free, nobody's going to score on us.
Well, Brandon, I wish you all the best in the all the luck in the world, and all the although I'm sure most of what you do specifically isn't luck, it's more about taking that man and moving him against his will where you don't want it, where he doesn't want to go. So this has been a lot of fun. The first of what will be many of our broadcasts throughout the fall and the winter season of football and basketball in the Muck and Mire podcast and on the Mire all together. Brandon, you're still going to be involved heavily, in the doing Mire-esque items within TV production class this year, which we really appreciate. I assume we'll still be having Bring the Fury from you every week. Is that correct?
Yeah, should be
100%. And we got a couple of other good things cooked up. And on the back burner, we'll start to reveal those things in the next couple of weeks as we get into football season. We're getting ready for Watchung Hills on Thursday night. The kickoff will be at 7:00. I regret to inform everyone, this is the first time I'm letting this out into the public eye. I am actually not going to be there. So we'll be miring without me, though I will try to get a hold of Coach Milich beforehand. I have to go to Florida on Thursday of all things, because I have to officiate the Pan American International Lacrosse tournament down in Florida. So
that'll be fun.
Well, yeah,
be hot. Bring water.
And no doubt. I want to ref the Olympics. This is the first time. So the lacrosse is coming back to the Olympics in 2028. And this is the first international event where they're using what the Olympic rules are going to be. So I feel pretty fortunate to have been asked to go do that. So here's me.
So that's a big accolade. Yeah.
First step of kissing butt for the next 6 years, so I can get myself out to LA in 2028. So that'll be fun. But we will have Tim Bartholomew, Matt Pogue, and potentially some other folks on hand on Thursday night to bring Mire football to you with a couple of new fun toys that we bought over the offseason that we're excited to show you. And all that's going to lead into what I think is going to be a fun football season. So Brandon, thank you very much. Congratulations again on Marist, and best of luck in the football season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been episode 1 of the 2021 Muck and Mire podcast. Thanks for watching.